Happy hello to you friends, I hope you are doing well. If you are new here, my name is Adi and I am an aspiring artist and I hope to write and illustrate a graphic novel. Today we are designing some more characters for the world that I'm working on. We are designing the remaining 4 students in the main character Moss's class. Moss is a human who was found abandoned as a baby in the forest by the hare folk, who are basically anthropomorphic hares. I already have 2 videos made about this class. The first one was very vague and I was just getting the initial ideas of each of the students down. The second one, I was diving deeper into the characters of Fern, Rowan and Henry. I will link both of those videos in the description and also up in the corner for you if you want to go back and watch those. Today I am talking about Wren, Cliff, Jasper and Aspen. So no point dilly-dallying, let's get right into it. First up is Wren Cotton. Wren is 7 years old. I talk all about how the school system works and why kids of different ages are all in one class in my previous video where I designed Fern, Rowan and Henry, so I won't repeat it all here, so I definitely recommend you go check out that other video. But essentially, there aren't enough teachers or children to have individual years in the school, so they're all bundled together. Moss is in the youngest group of students, which is 5 to 7 years old. Okay, back to Wren. Wren is shy and sweet. She is a bit of a daydreamer, which sometimes makes it hard for her in school. She does try her best at school, but she does struggle a bit. Wren loves music. In another video, the one where I talk about different ways to fill your sketchbook, I'll link it up in the corner for you also, I illustrate some of the cultural items that the harefolk have, and this includes a variety of whistles that they use to play music. There's the flute, the pan, the whistle, and the duo whistle. Wren knows how to play the flute and the pan, but she really wants to learn how to play the 2 other whistles as well. She dreams of becoming a famous musician, but her parents refuse to let her follow this dream and refuse to pay for lessons. They demand that she does well in school and becomes a respectable worker. Wren learned how to play the flute and the pan from her grandfather, who she was very close with. He passed away when she was 6. She was heartbroken, but she kept playing her music and was determined to keep practicing and get better. She doesn't talk much, she's definitely the quiet kid at school, and playing music is sort of a way for her to channel her emotions. Moving on to Cliff Birch. Cliff is short for Clifford, and he is 7 years old. Cliff is the bully of the class. He's always grumpy, rude, and mean, and this stems from his relationship with his two older brothers, Heath and Oliver. At home, he often gets teased, made fun of, and basically bullied by his older brothers. Heath and Oliver also sometimes quote-unquote roughhouse with Cliff, saying it's just play. His brothers make fun of his name, his big fluffy tail, which is a little abnormally big, but it's nothing that deserves to be made fun of. The age gap between Cliff and his older brothers is a good 12 or so years. Cliff wasn't planned, but while his parents were excited to have another kid, the two young teenage boys, who are only a year apart, were quite upset about having a new sibling. Cliff is a very self-conscious kid. He's built up these walls around himself and tries to act big and cool, thinking that everyone is like his brothers, which they're obviously not. Cliff is good at school. He's a smart kid, but he pretends he isn't, especially at home, not wanting his brothers to be making fun of him for being a so-called nerd. Everyone in his family are trade workers. They help build infrastructure and houses and such. So he feels that if he would appear as this academic kid, his brothers would just have more ammunition to attack him with. I quite like Cliff. I don't know how his story goes down though. Does he break free from his brother's abuse, make peace with them? Does he admit that he's smart and has the ability to do something with his life other than hard labor? What if his character arc leads him down the path of becoming a doctor or something? I don't know. But I'm looking forward to figuring it all out. Next up is Jasper Green. Jasper is the nerd of the class and he is 6 years old. He does well in school, asks many questions, and always does the homework. And he was Cliff's primary target before Moss arrived. Jasper is oblivious to most social things and takes everything very literally. He doesn't really have any friends, but he doesn't really care. He doesn't feel lonely or anything, and he doesn't try to make friends. He just cares about doing well in school. Jasper is an only child. His parents love him very dearly, but they are often concerned that he is lonely and doesn't socialize enough. They want him to have friends, but he doesn't care about any of that. Jasper's interest is in the sky. Stars, the moon, clouds, and weather. All his spare time is dedicated to making maps, charts, and tinkering with inventions that can help collect data on the wind, rain, snow, and what have you. One summer, he designed the blueprints for a telescope, though that's just what we call it in real life. He called it a star finder. Very 7-year-old name. Over the summer, he suddenly started doing extra chores and odd jobs around the village to try and save up money to buy the materials he needed to make it. He commissioned one of the local potters to make out the barrel, and he waited for Oak Truffle, the Badger Folk merchant who comes around each month with items and materials to trade and sell, to come around again. So he could ask him to bring 3 specifically sized and shaped circles of glass to put in the barrel. A month later, when Oak came around again, Jasper bought the pieces of glass and finally built his Starfinder. finally, there is Aspen Dawn. She is 7 years old. She is kind, strong, and never complains about anything. She just takes things as they come. She is very interested in pottery and clay work, which are both culturally significant activities in the Hair Folk Society. And she is quite talented for a 7-year-old and definitely has potential to go far with her creations. But obviously, she still needs heaps of practice like any skill. She is 7 after all. School-wise, she's your average mid-range student. Struggles with some things, but is pretty good with most and gets by just fine. Now, you may have noticed that she is missing a foot. She was born with an infection in her lower left leg, and the doctor decided it would be best to amputate when she was 1 year old, since it wasn't getting any better despite extensive treatment. Mind you, this isn't advanced healthcare. It's mostly herbal and natural medicines and treatments, since that's what they have. Anyway, the amputation was successful, and it healed properly. They were rid of the infection, and all was good. Since Aspen grew up without her foot, it doesn't bother her at all. She uses crutches as a walking aid most of the time, but she can easily walk, or well, hop? Move. She can easily move around without them. And that is everyone! Let me know your thoughts on them down below in the comments. Do you have a favourite? Or is there someone you don't really like? Let me know. I'd love to hear what you guys think. Also, if you made it this far, well, first of all, thank you. It really helps out the channel when you watch the video all the way to the end. But if you made it this far, be sure to leave a rabbit emoji in the comments. And that is everything for now. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you all have a wonderful day or night wherever you are. And I will see you all next time. Bye!